Welcome to the Sustainability Salon, a place where we embrace change, celebrate innovation, and honor the people shaping a greener tomorrow. This is your space for conscious conversation and powerful inspiration. Let's make sustainability the new sexy. Welcome back, you guys, to the Sustainable Salon. I have a beautiful guest today, what I'm a huge fan. I love his project. I love everything he's doing. I love his brilliant ideas. I'm honestly a fan. So please welcome Larry Rose today, a sustainable advocate from Africa who is doing amazing things, and I would really like to support him. So, without further ado, welcome, welcome. Please tell us everything that you're doing because I am in love with your project.
Thank you so much, Victoria. I thank you for this opportunity. I'm Olariwaju, and I'm the founder of Larry Rose Foundation. Larry Rose Foundation the whole journey started 2013. I was a student in India at that moment, and I decided to go into fashion. Now I'll produce from India and bring it down to African markets and sell into the markets. Now there was a little issue in the economy, and I decided to bring the factory from India to Africa. Because of this, I went to like 5 African countries doing some research. And one thing I realized was this, that most of our factories were actually dying at the moment. So I said to myself, what's the issue? Uh, and this is because we have a lot of influx of used clothes and inferior clothes coming into Africa. So why should Larry buy uh, something of $100 of Victoria when I could just go to downtown to buy something of $2? Now, that was where the whole solution came from. And I was like, okay, how can we solve this problem? Now, what actually came to my mind at that moment is let's start a recycling facility. But before then, I had the chance to, during the whole research, the lockdown started, and I realized one thing. I've never looked into the non-profit organization or department in Africa until then. Most of the non-profit organization we have, yeah, they are doing a lot of wonderful job, kudos to them. But I realized that most of them are not sustainable. It means if Tara, for example, is a donor, when she keeps sending money, the moment she stops sending money, it means nothing is going to happen anymore. So during the pandemic, a lot of kids were sent back to the streets. And because of that, we had 25% of high school and elementary school students who got pregnant. And based on the statistics at that moment, these are girls of 10 to like 18 years old girls. Now, I said to myself, I had a chance to go to a teenage mother home and I asked them a question like 100 girls. If you have the chance to go back to school, what would you like to learn? You know, 80 of them made mention of fashion related courses, and 20 made mention of I want to be a doctor, I want to be a lawyer, which is definitely respected. Now, I looked at something. I was like, this 80 girls, fashion schools are not cheap. And even if you have the chance to go to a fashion school, they're just going to be like Larry, who went to India and decided to start a recycling facility. Went to India and started polluting the environment at the end. So if we don't start a sustainable fashion school, something is going to be happening at the end. It's going to be a very brutal thing. Now, what are we working towards? We want to start a recycling facility, just like I said. We are registered in California, in US at the moment. And one thing that I would say that yes, we have to break some rules. And the rules we want to break is not like it's going to be affecting for long or just lead to emission. We're going to be collecting this used clothes. We bring it down to Africa and recycle or upcycle into a new product. Now, the proceed or profit we get from this, we want to start a recycling school where people can come in and learn for free. One big thing that we decide to do right now is this. The money, um, the students that are going to be coming out from the school, we're going to train them and they should be able to, we're going to empower them to start a small scale recycling facility of theirs, in which they can actually employ 300 workers. And if you ask me, how is it possible to employ 300 workers? Let's look at the plastic industry. People would go to the landfill, bring it, take it to the factory. It means they've created enough job. We can also do the same thing in the fashion industry, especially textile industry. They go to the landfill, they go to the houses, they get clothes, they take it to the factory and recycle. So if we have 2,000 students that we trained and empowered, and they've been able to employ 300 workers, that is 600,000 people already. Now, for in an African home, or we always have the mother, the father, and 3 to 4 kids. Maybe nephew or cousin might actually come around once in a while. So it means if the father goes to work or the mother goes to work and gets the right payment. When I say the right payment, this is not something of getting $30 to $50 per month because that's what is actually common at the moment. And those are the things we are trying to fight against at the moment, you know. So if we get the right payments, they will go back home and take care of the family. So this tells you three things that we're working towards. One, to reduce the environmental pollution caused by fast fashion or the fashion industry of Africa. Two, to rebuild the fashion industry of Africa. And third, to boost the economy of any community or country that we invest or do something into. All those three things can be actually achieved through this recycling facility. Now, we went further. We thought it was going to be very easy. Personally, being the brain box of the whole project, I decided to form a community of strong people. It wasn't that easy. We have members in 14 countries at the moment, which are very, very passionate about what they are doing and they know what in a lot of different fields. Some of them are engineers, some of them are, IT people, and all that. We gathered together and to form this whole foundation. Now, we did some research in some states in US, and we realized that some fashion students that we spoke to, and we had a conversation, some models, understand little things about the fashion industry in Africa. Well, they don't really understand what's actually is going on deep down. So I told the members, let's write an article and post it on the website. Well, believe me, people will still come back and say, Larry, tell me more about what's going on in Africa. Tell me more what's going on around the world. It shows that people don't read. They only scroll through things. So how do you want to solve a problem like that if or when people don't read? I sat down with the members. We need to look for a way. And the best idea that we came up with is to develop a video game, which is going to be a sustainable fashion game, educational one. It's not going to be addictive. No, we won't make it addictive, at least in which when people play the game, they will understand like 65 to 75% of what's going on in the fashion industry. Now, before you play the game, one of the strategies that we want to use is you're gonna have to sign up with your email. And what do you want to use your email for? It's not like you want to sell the email out. We want to form a community of different people in different countries. Larry is in Uganda, someone is in the US, Victoria is in Italy. We can all form 60 million people where if you want to sell your brand, you can do that without any payment. If you have a project, any sustainable project, you can always talk about it because people who are going to be on that platform are people who are passionate. They have idea of everything about sustainable fashion and about the environment already. So these are one way that we intend to also help small brands that are coming up. Now, it has been a very tricky journey. Personally, um, I've, I've spoken to big brands, but one thing I've realized that people greenwash a lot of big brands. I don't want to mention names, but when we say big brands, always remember big brands. There was this one particular brand I spoke to, and the moment we talked about the educational part, they said they're not interested. It means nobody's gonna solve it. So I looked at myself and I was like, if I've been in business before, why do I have to look for someone to look for a solution for me? Let me use what I have. Let me go back to the business. Let me gather some funds and use it to sacrifice for this. See, Victoria, if people like you and I and other people are so passionate about the environment and about the fashion, don't come together to solve this, but nobody's going to do that. If you look at a lot of websites, you hear the government policies don't bring clothes into our social particular area. But if I wake up every morning in the morning, I still see trucks of used clothes coming into African markets all every day, every minute. So it means the governments are not going to help. The policies are just propaganda. So we need to start doing something. I'll be very happy to talk to anybody who wants to be part of this project, anybody who's passionate. Let's make it a movement, and it's not going to be a toxic one. It's going to be the right one, because when you talk to people, they see fashion as a way like it's just a luxury. But when you talk about food and the water, wow, let's save the world, give them food. But they don't understand that the fashion industry is one of the biggest industry that's polluting the water and the food. When we when the dyes, when the water from the factory goes into the river, these are the things we use to drink. These are the water we drink. These are the water we use for our plants, which are actually contaminating every part of the environment, every part of what we are eating. So you can see how powerful this issue is. I don't want to use the word problem because I'll just be it's an issue. So if we don't solve it, so many things are going to keep on, and it's not something you can see easily. It's eating. So I'll be very happy to have people come together because I'm playing my part. What about you? What are you doing? Victoria is doing her own part. We just can't keep season out to say, yeah, I like fashion, I do fashion. So thank you so much for this, and I really appreciate it. Thanks.
Of course, of course. Thank you so much for sharing. I love everything about it. I love the fact that you're
Yeah,
really focusing on the kids and that you're starting with education. I love the fact
yeah,
that you're really, trying to build a future for them because I think at the end of the
definitely.
day, you and me, we won't be here, but the children will be
Yeah,
at someday.
definitely,
And I think
definitely, definitely.
especially waste, like I'm so passionate about upcycling because I mean we have statistic that around 1 million tons of garments are literally being
Mm-hmm.
thrown into landfills every single year. So it's a project and a problem that is
Yeah,
literally growing every single day. And
definitely,
then you have
definitely,
big
definitely.
brands that are producing like 6,000 new clothing every single day, and at the same time we have the landfill. So it's not adding up. We just have
Mm-hmm.
more and more and more waste, and I just love that you're doing it. I love that you're doing the recycling because I see power.
Definitely.
I see power in having something old and turning it into new, and I believe that
Mm-hmm.
there's so much creativity. We don't need to buy new
Mm-hmm.
things. We have so many
Mm-hmm.
beautiful pieces that can be worn again or repaired or turned into some new greatness. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so I'm really, really happy about everything that you're doing. I love the app idea. I love, that you're really trying to turn this into something fun because often when we
Definitely.
talk about sustainability, a lot of people are like, no, this is sad, whatever.
Mm.
They don't want
Yeah,
to think about it. But I love the fact that you're
definitely.
trying to make this a fun thing that really
Mm.
the kids of tomorrow and the children are
Definitely.
really having a great time with it. So I love everything about it. I will definitely
Thank you so
put
much.
your foundation link right underneath the video of all the socials. So
Mhm.
guys, if you listen to this, please do, every dollar helps at this point, even though if you don't have much, it's just, I think it's really just about the effort. And just like you said correctly, we can't save the world alone, but we can do it together.
Yeah.
When I founded my fashion brand, I had this one sentence, and maybe you'll like it. It was, through fashion we can change the world, like together
Mm.
we can change fashion, but through fashion we can change the world because just like you said, we have
Mhm.
the chemicals in the water, we have the chemicals in the soil, we're polluting vegetables, fish, animals, we're polluting humans. So it's really so much more dramatic than just clothes.
Mhm.
And
Mm.
it means the world to me to have, your perspective on it because I've been doing
Mm.
videos on this forever, and being like, we need to
Mm.
be more careful and we need filter systems and we need this. But obviously, it's
Definitely.
so much more precious to hear it from you, because you
Yeah,
are there, you are seeing it with your own eyes.
definitely.
Obviously, like I would love to come visit at some point, and just
You're
see the
welcome.
cool, see the recycling factories if there's anything I can do.
Mhm.
We also had this conversation that I have my own online store and that we will design a t-shirt together and you can buy the t-shirt and the donations will go to the foundation. So, just
Thank you
just
so
a
much.
very small thing that I can do to help this project.
Thank
But
you
you
so
know, I
much.
think that if you have people who wear this t-shirt loud and proud, you know, and they really know that they're doing something good with it, then maybe we can, you know, make the world a better place, t-shirt by
A better
t-shirt,
place.
donation by donation, you know. I
Mm.
really, really
Thank you
hope.
so much.
And if
Thank you.
there's
Thanks.
anybody out there who knows an investor, we have a great project here. So, you know,
You're welcome.
maybe, you know,
Definitely, definitely. Yeah,
no,
like I said, education is very, very important. If we don't educate people first, it's just gonna be a total waste. I'll be very frank. Doing the right thing is educating people first.
yeah,
I'll definitely need that. It's very, very,
absolutely,
very important, you know. So
absolutely.
I hope I know people are gonna come up, you know, because I'm not sleeping. I keep working, playing my own parts to reach there. Thank you.
And that's amazing. And you can be really, really proud of you. I really love your ideas. I think it's going to be
Thanks.
amazing. I love that you're doing
Thanks so
really
much.
something for the kids of the future. I love that you're cleaning up our planet. You're definitely the hero of the day, my friend. I think
Thank you
it's
so much. Yeah.
beautiful. And I really believe that if you, you know, just keep working and just stay resilient, that God will bless you, you know.
Thank you so
So I,
much. Yeah.
I wish you the best of luck for all your endeavors. We will stay in contact.
Um,
We will design that
yeah,
t-shirt. Um,
definitely.
and you know, I just honestly, I really hope that it works out. I want to see you building that school. I want to see you having that recycling factory.
It's
And
gonna
I think
happen.
that that's, you know, it's so true what you said. People need to know about the problem in order to find a
Mm,
solution and to help.
mhm,
So
mm,
thank you so much for telling us about the problem. Thank you for giving
mm.
us your perspective, your really invaluable insights. So
Amen.
thank
Thank
you
you.
so, so much for your
You're,
time. Any last
you're,
words? Anything that you would like to leave the audience with?
you are what you put on.
Woo!
Yeah. Yeah. You know, it's you know, it really matters a lot. It's something you should always because if we don't start focusing on the real quality,
Mm,
you know, just like you said, how can someone wear a clothes of $2 and you feel very comfortable with that?
mm,
How is that even possible? That means I don't want to say something negative, but it means blood has been shed on that, or sweat has been shed on that.
mm,
Chemicals that are not supposed to have been used in that. That's why it's cheap.
mm,
Extortion has been there. Child labor has been on that.
mm,
So you are what you wear. So if you know what you're putting on is, I don't want to put this on, buy the right quality outfits. You
yeah,
know, it doesn't mean when it's expensive, but and you know when you put on something, you feel comfortable. When you put on something, you know, I got myself today. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, yeah,
you are what
absolutely.
you put on, definitely. And
Absolutely. I actually think there's so much power in fashion. I really do, you know.
mm,
We
mm,
always say that, you know, people makes clothes, clothes makes
mhm,
people. Um,
mm,
and you know, because people are getting treated differently by what they wear. So
definitely.
why are they not getting treated by how they wear, you know?
Out of bed. Mm,
And I think it's really important, and I think that's why education and honestly transparency is so important, you know?
mm,
We need to ask the question, who made my clothes? Under what condition?
mm,
What circumstances?
mm,
How much are they paid? What happens to the chemicals? What happens to the water? You know, what happens to the
mm,
plastic packaging? What happens? I think we just need to
mm,
stay curious. We need to ask questions. We also need to demand from the big brands, be transparent.
mm.
Tell us how you produce, you know? How is
Please.
that possible? How is a $2 t-shirt possible? You know, how? Tell me, you know? And I think at the end of the day, it's all about people because we care, you know? You
Mm,
care about
mm,
those girls in those schools, and
mhm,
that's beautiful,
mm.
you know?
Yeah, yeah, definitely, definitely. Thank you so
So
much.
be
You
proud
know,
of yourself.
uh, you're welcome. So, are we still on?
Yes, we will end it now. And thank you so much for your visit. And best of luck for your foundation.
No. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Yeah.
Thank you for joining the Sustainability Salon. Keep questioning, keep creating, keep caring. Because the future is shaped by those who dare to change it. Until next time, stay bold, stay kind, and stay sustainable. With lots of love, Victoria.